to Navigate Your Wealth, this week's edition, and every week's edition brought to you by Compass Financial. Karen Stawicki and Samantha Irish, of course, the dynamic duo, mother and daughter team. Great to see you.
Good to be back with you again. Finally getting some cool weather.
I know, I love fall colors. Okay, so we know about the way that we set people up for a successful retirement. We've learned that from you all week after week. Why is it so important to have a legacy or an estate plan? Is it even important for everyone?
I think it really is important because let's face it, when you're gone, sometimes it's a mess. Yeah. And it would be so easy to let others know what's there, what they need to be doing with it, who you want to get what. Because the bottom line is somebody's going to get your stuff. Right. It may not just be who you wanted it to. Right. Because the problem with dying without having those things in order is that then you go to probate. And the court, many times, will be the deciding factor of who gets what. And it is so easy to just get that taken care of. The problem and the reason that we need probate is because the only way to get an asset into somebody else's name is with their signature.
Gotcha.
Hard to get a dead person to sign.
Right.
It's really hard.
So it's just a form, it's just a few things.
Well, each legacy plan really should be customized. There are a few forms that can be filled out and organized that don't have to be this big burden and this big cost and big obligation. Now, you may have an estate that does need a complicated plan with specific control and exactly what you want the dollars to do. But that doesn't mean that that's the plan for everybody. But it is important that you make the decision on the front end. How do I want these dollars distributed? Where do I want them to go? You have said for years that everybody needs a legacy plan. Everybody needs some kind of direction as to where those assets go. And because it's been such a passion of yours, at Compass Financial, we want to make sure that every client has that. And so we've created a solution through a partnership to give that to our clients as an opportunity to execute their wishes and desires at a low cost. Because I know that cost is a huge barrier to entry for so many people.
That's why a lot of people don't do it.
They don't do it just because, one, it's complicated. They got to make decisions. In fact, I had an attorney I worked with for years that said young couples typically will not do their estate plan because they can't decide on guardians for their children. I mean, that's a crazy thing.
But that's the reason.
But that's the reason. And he said, I can prove it because when the children finally turn 18, they come in to get their estate plan done. And he says, what are you doing here now? Well, the kids don't need guardians.
Oh, isn't that funny?
Yeah, it's really crazy.
So sometimes it's things they don't want to face. And you just reminded me when you said 18. Samantha was telling me something that you do with her and her brother Scott. Let's talk about that.
Well, and that's part of the estate plan, right? There are different reasons for having an estate plan. Sometimes it's to make sure your assets get passed properly. Sometimes it's to make sure or trying to avoid taxes. But in the estate plan, there's things like the will, the trust, the power of attorney, the healthcare directive, all of those things. And what we were talking about with Sam is I learned that at 18 years old, you need to get a power of attorney, power of medical power of attorney. And the reason is because if Samantha or Scott were in an accident, once they're over the age of 18, I may be paying for the hospital bill, but I can't decide on the care they get because at 18, they are an adult. So without that power of attorney, I have no authority to make those decisions. Once I learned that, that is a very simple document that can be drawn up for each and every one of you that have children over the age of 18. You need that health care power of attorney. And that, I told Samantha and Scott, we get 2 copies, one in the glove compartment of your car and the other in my possession. And it's simple. And we've helped so many clients with just that little tidbit of information.
No one's, I've never heard anyone say that before.
I hadn't heard it before I heard it.
Even they could be living in your home. You're the mom.
Absolutely.
100%
controlling, paying the bills.
Right, your responsibility. But when it comes to that, someone could decide for you.
Yeah. You touched on this. You may need legacy plan for your taxes. And you have a story about a client of ours that I just think is the greatest story, and so I'd rather you tell it than me.
Okay. All right. So years ago, I had gone to a fundraiser in San Francisco, and it was a big fancy dinner. And after dinner, everybody's mingling around, and I'm chatting with this woman, and she says, by the way, honey, what do you do? And I thought, okay, what do I say? I'm standing on my feet now. What do I do? And I said, well, actually, I do a lot of things. But the thing that I love the most is that I help my clients get their family to the front of the receiving line and put the IRS at the back of the receiving line. She had that same expression, Rebecca.
Who are you?
Exactly. She grabbed my hand and said, honey, come with me. And we went running into one of the 7 rooms that had, or 7 fireplaces in this mansion that we were having this big dinner. And she said, Eric, you need to listen to what she does. Now, this poor man was standing there trying to have a conversation with another couple, and he said, you know, listening to his wife, yes, dear, what are you doing? And so I said, well, I just explained to her that, you know, I love to get my clients' family to the front of the receiving line and get the IRS to the back. And he pulled out a business card and said, you need to give me a call on Monday. Well, come to find out, sadly enough, his mom and dad had both passed away 2 years earlier, 3 weeks apart.
Oh, wow.
Broken heart, I don't know.
I
It's
know,
very
that's
sad. I know. But for 2 years, they had been fighting with probate, the cost, the expense. People don't know this, but one of the little fun facts that I also learned in my 40 years of doing this is that probate is on the total cost of your home, not the equity that you have in your home. How about that for a mind-blowing fact?
Wow.
So if you have a $1 million home with $300,000 of equity, your probate is on the $1 million, not on the $300,000.
Of course it is. I mean, let's be honest. Like I've said before, we're all patriots. We want to do our part, but the federal government is not looking out for you. So you have to look out for you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, and you don't have to do it alone, right?
That's right.
That's where we come in. We really believe that our job is to partner with our clients and be their advocate so that they don't make silly mistakes that they just didn't know about. It's not your fault. You aren't making these choices because you want to do harm to your family or to your heirs. It's just that you're not educated in a way where constantly the government is giving you these opportunities to make smart choices. You need a partner. You need an advocate. And that's where we come in. Call the number on your screen, 855-348-3073. We want to be your partner. We want to help you make sure that your heirs are taken care of, your family is taken care of, and that your money is transferred to the legacy that you want it to be.
Not the one the government picked.
Get them to the back of the line.
Exactly.
And again, it is no cost at all, no obligation, just a warm conversation, see if you all are a right fit for each other. There's a number on your screen. Don't forget the QR code and stay with us. More with Navigating Your Wealth right after this.